Thank you for helping monitor the health of Wisconsin streams. In this video, we will walk you through the basics of how to submit your water quality data. All WAVE volunteer data is submitted to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources SWIMS database. The SWIMS database contains all surface water data for Wisconsin. You can find the SWIMS login page on the WAVE website's Submit Data page or by searching for DNR SWIMS in your browser. Now, before you can log in, there are two steps you need to take to get access to the database. First, you'll need to create a State of Wisconsin username and password. And second, you'll need to email WAVE staff to create your profile in the SWIMS database. So if you have not yet completed both those steps, visit the WAVE website for instructions or contact a local WAVE coordinator for help. Once these two steps are complete, you will be able to log into SWIMS. Just enter your username and password, check the box for external users and volunteers, and click Login. To enter your stream data, go to the blue toolbar at the top of the SWIMS homepage. Click on Submit Data, and then we're going to click on Submit Data once more. Now, all the data that you submit to SWIMS will be organized as a fieldwork event with a specific date, time, and place. Fill out all the required fields on this page, which are marked with a red asterisk. The project and station name fields should always auto-populate for you. And if you monitor more than one stream site, you'll need to select the project that matches the stream site you monitored. If these fields are blank, or if you don't find your stream site listed, stop and contact WAVE staff for help. Use the drop-down menu to select the people you monitored with. If you regularly monitor with the same group of people, you will want to create a new data collector group so that you can easily select those same people from the drop-down menu every time you enter data. Click on the Find Data Collector button to create a new monitoring group. At the top of the pop-up window, use the search box to find the names of people you regularly monitor with. A person must have a profile in SWIMS in order to be found, so you can always email WAVE staff to create a profile for one of your regular teammates. This step is important for us to properly recognize regular volunteers who participate in WAVE. Now, click on the Add button to add people to your group. Once you've added all of your monitoring teammates, click on the green Create button to save your monitoring group. Next, enter the date you monitored and the start and end time. Make sure that the form field auto-populates with the WAVE stream monitoring form. If this field is blank, stop and contact WAVE staff for help because it should auto-populate. And finally, type in your fieldwork comments, which describe your observations of the health of the stream or other important details from your visit to the stream that would be useful for a biologist to know. Now scroll back up to the top and click on the orange Next button to continue. On the next few pages, you will enter the weather information and water quality data you collected. Use the drop-down fields to select the weather, the sampling date, and the stream condition during your fieldwork event. Type in the description of the weather over the past 2 days before you monitored. Now enter the values for each parameter that you monitored for. Skip any fields that you did not collect data for. Do not enter 0 because 0 is a value and implies that you did monitor for that parameter. Also, double check your numbers before saving because the database will not fix your data entry errors. And lastly, check that your units match the units on the form. For example, water and air temperature should always be entered as Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Now, if you monitored for dissolved oxygen, select the method that you used and then enter your values. If you monitored for transparency, select your tube length. 120 centimeters is most common. Enter the values from your 2 tests, and then SWIMS will auto-calculate an average. If you monitored for specific conductance, enter your data and remember to select the units you used. Now, at the bottom of the page, click on Save to save your work while staying on the page. You can click on Save and Return if you have no more data to submit your fieldwork event. And if you do have additional data, you can click on Save and Enter Flow Data to continue. If you monitored for streamflow, you will fill out this page. If not, scroll to the bottom and click Save and Enter Thermistor Data to continue. First, select the streamflow method that you used. If you used a flow meter, you can directly type in your final streamflow discharge value in the text box. If you use the wave float method using a tennis ball, you will fill out the rest of the fields on the page. So first, type in any comments about the flow that day that would be useful for a biologist to know. Now, enter the stream length that you floated the tennis ball, which is usually 20 feet for the wave float method. Enter the stream width. Always type in 0 for your first water depth. This 0 represents both stream banks. Next, enter the water depths that you measured at equal intervals across the stream. Remember, the units must be in decimal feet, not feet and inches. And if you only collected 10 depth measurements, enter 10 values and leave the rest of the depth measurement fields blank. Do not enter 0 for your last point. Next, type in your velocity float trial values with units in seconds. You will notice in the dark gray lines that SWIMS is already using your values to auto-calculate the stream's area and average velocity. Lastly, use the drop-down to select your velocity correction factor for either smooth or rough bottom streams. SWIMS will now auto-calculate your streamflow discharge. Before you save, remember to check for any data entry errors, because SWIMS will not correct them. Click on Save and enter thermistor data to continue. This page is for volunteers who deployed or retrieved a continuous temperature meter called a thermistor in their stream. Most volunteers will not enter data on this page, so you can click Save and enter biotic index data to continue. If you completed a wave biotic index, you will enter data on this page. And I want to stop and note here that if you need to go back to a previous page at any time, simply click the back button in your browser. You can also click on Save and Edit Header to go back to the very first page. So SWIMS will auto-calculate your biotic index value. You just need to use the drop-down fields to select present for any animals that you found. Remember also to report any aquatic invasive species that you found at the bottom of this page. It's important to report if you did not find an invasive species too. So select yes or no for each of the 4 animals every time. That's the end of the baseline monitoring data. So if you've entered all of your data, you can click Save and Return to submit your fieldwork event. The final 2 pages are for submitting habitat assessment data. WAVE volunteers should only submit habitat data if they have attended a WAVE habitat assessment training and are following the full protocol. So click on the orange button for Save and Enter Fish Habitat to continue. The first habitat assessment page is for streams that are less than 10 meters or 33 feet wide. And the next habitat assessment page is for streams that are more than 10 meters or 33 feet wide. So most volunteers should only submit habitat assessment data for the first page, for streams that are less than 33 feet wide. If you completed a habitat assessment, you will enter your data on this first page. You simply select your final rating for each of the 7 habitat parameters, and then SWIMS will auto-calculate your final score. So make sure you enter a value for all 7 habitat parameters before saving. And now you can click on Save and Return to submit your data. Congratulations, you're done submitting your stream data. If you think you made a mistake and want to edit your data, you can go to the blue toolbar at the top of the SWIMS homepage and click on View Data. This page will show you all the past fieldwork events that you submitted. To edit a past fieldwork event, simply click on the green pencil icon next to the fieldwork event that you would like to edit. This will take you back to the Submit Data pages we just walked through. If you have any questions about SWIMS or need assistance, please contact Water Action Volunteers Program staff at wave@extension.wisc.edu.